Hey friends and family, it's Jim here. Today is August 7th in 2017 and I wanted to share you through my day trip. Today we drove through Pagosa, went to Arboles, Ignacio, Bayfield, and came back. I'm riding the Suzuki S40, used to be called a Savage. They started making this bike in 1986 and really haven't changed anything on it except in 1995 they went from a 4-speed to a 5-speed transmission. But it's a 650cc thumper single cylinder, still has an old-fashioned carburetor, no trip odometer, completely mechanical, and I like that. We're going through Pagosa there, and you can see it's really broken into 3 sections. The first section is what I call the historic downtown. So we're now on 160 entering Pagosa, going west. And of course the sign on the right says the deepest hot springs in the world. And as far as we know, they can't find the bottom. Although the town is oftentimes seen as just a single road town, a handful of stoplights, actually there's about 2,000 people who locally live in Pagosa, and if you include the peripheral areas, neighborhoods out in the countryside who have a Pagosa address or zip code, it's closer to 5,000. The town sits about 7,000 feet elevation and is about 19 acres in total area. Here we're going through the beginning part. We're coming to the San Juan River, getting ready to cross it. One of our favorite places to eat is on the left here up ahead. There's the San Juan River. And coming up on the left is one of our favorite places we take everyone to, and that's Kip's Cantina. Lots of places along here. There's 3 microbreweries in this town, and right now we're passing Riff Raff, the first of the 3. Soon we're going to come right into the downtown and come to the first stoplight. This is where you'll see on the left the Hot Springs Resort. Right there on the right is Riff Raff Brewing Company. Also in the historic downtown areas, you're going to find lots of antique shops and some neat places to eat. Right there on the right is the middle school for the Pagosa. It only has 1 school in the entire county, so even though it's a small town, it graduates probably about 200 students a year. Our favorite lunch place, one of them is the Peak Deli there. There you see Goodman's department store, an interesting Western place. There's the movie theater. It's 100 years old, and we like to go see movies there. And there's another place on the right called the Lost Cajun. Authentic Cajun food right here in the southwest Colorado. Kind of interesting. On the left, though, we don't see it very well, is the Hot Springs Resort across the river. And so now we're going to kind of turn right and go past some more antique shops and hit the second phase of the city, the part I call the uphill section, or the hill. And this is because from this point until the top, the highest elevation, which approaches about 7,800 feet, you go up about 600 feet in elevation. So now we're leaving Pagosa, and we're going to see here, just right in the center of the screen in a little bit, what appears to be a chimney in the distance. It's actually called Chimney Rock. It's a national park, and it's also a sacred grounds for the Indians, or historical Indians. We are now also entering the Southern Ute Reservation. The Southern Utes is an Indian tribe that's been here for a long period of time. It's the Southern Ute Reservation covers most of southwest Colorado and northern New Mexico, and it has about 1 million square miles of land, including Ignacio and Arboles. This is 160 heading west, and again you can see it's just nice curving highway, a great place to go for a cruise. Up here on the left, we're going to turn in front of Chimney Rock. Back in February, not of this year, but of 2016, Diane came with Robert and Matthew, and in February, in the winter, in the snow, we hiked up to Chimney Rock, or at least up into some of the hills and small mountains of Chimney Rock. It was a pretty cool trip. Of course, we saw no trespassing past this sign, so of course we didn't go past the sign. We went all the way around it and continued on our way. We saw lots of footprints, so we figured we were safe. Now we're heading due south to Arbalise, and towards the end of this road you're going to see the Navajo State Park. It's a rather large lake, about 60 acres of water, and although it's a state park, I rode there once and went in. It didn't seem terribly impressed. In this particular location, there wasn't a lot of trees, so I didn't spend much time there. But again, it's a beautiful road to go for a ride. So we're heading south. We're going to come to a little tiny town of Arbalise. There's no stoplights, no road signs, no stop signs or stoplights. But we're only about 10 miles from the New Mexico border at this point when we get there. And then we're going to turn right and start heading west again. Arbalise is a really small town. They call it a census town in that it's not a formal population. There's lots of neighborhoods and some businesses, but it's not incorporated in the traditional sense. It only has about a population of about 300 people. Its claim to fame is simply being right next to the Navajo National State Park and Lake. And going down this highway, we're just cruising along 60, 65 miles an hour. Just a nice, easy drive. You can see how blue the skies are, and just lightly cloudy day. It's been a relief from the past 7, 8, 9 days where we've had thunderstorms every day. Of course, you can go from blue skies to thunderstorms in about 20 minutes time. So just like in Ohio, they say wait 5 minutes and the weather will change. It's true here as well. Right to the right here, I'll take a real quick look. You'll see some of the foothills that Diane and I and Matthew and Robert climbed. Of course, you have to imagine a lot of snow on top of that. Most of it was fairly well packed down, so it wasn't difficult to hike. And even though it was a cold day around freezing, the sun's out. So oftentimes you can just go out in a fleece jacket, like similar to what I'm wearing now. In one of the future rides, I hope to have a second production of this. I'm going to go for a coffee. And going for a coffee here means going to Silverton or Ouray and driving what they call the $1 Million Highway. Just Google that sometime, or go on YouTube and Google YouTube $1 Million Highway. It's an amazing, amazing highway. If you like curves and no guardrails and lots of drop-offs, it's spectacular. Here's going from Arborleast. You see it down by the lake there, the Navajo Lake, and now we're going to be heading west, coming into the little town of Ignacio. Ignacio is in the next county over, which is La Plata County. Pagosa Springs is in Archuleta County. And they estimate there's between 600 and 800 people in this town. But we're in the heart of the Southern Utah Reservation, so there is lots of businesses here, grocery stores, markets, things like that. But it is mostly a one-stoplight town, and so you'll see it coming up here real soon. It felt like a rather cool day, and yet I noticed on the temperature gauge in front of the subway market, it showed 84 degrees. It felt like it was 60 degrees. I suppose that's a lot to do with just low humidity. You know, you cool down rather quickly. I'm going to turn right here and just head north and just go a few miles out of town. You're going to see a large company on the left, at least their offices here in a mile or so. I don't know what the company is. There's no real sign outside, but I know it's not a hospital. I know it's not a school. And then a little bit beyond that on the right, you'll see the Southern Ute Museum. Interesting story to it. The museum was open for 3-4 years and had an affiliation with a lot of different museum systems in the country, and so lots and lots of interesting artifacts from Southwest Colorado were in this museum. Well, for whatever reason, a couple years ago, that affiliation broke, and most of those artifacts went back to their home museums, and the place had to close. Well, about 6 months ago, beginning of the year of 2017, it opened up again. So on the right hand side you'll see what appears to be, I think you'll see it, a teepee, and actually that's just a structure in front of the museum. Immediately after that you're going to see the Sky Ute casino. Well, Julie and I had stayed at the Sky Ute because we had a guest who got married here at Elkwood Manor, and kind of we traded rooms. They came and stayed for a night on us, and they gave us a room to stay there as well. Interesting place, beautiful inside, well ornamented, but it was interesting. I mean, of course, you walk in, you see all the casinos and gambling. There's probably 5 restaurants in the place. There's the building on the left. It's some kind of office setting, but I don't know what it is. And on the right, you'll see the museum here coming up in the near distance, and then the casino just beyond it. And I just go in and turn around. But the casino, when you walked in, it just had it was interesting, but you know, gambling's just not in our blood, and it didn't seem like much fun. And of course, we had dinner there. It was a wonderful time. We had a wonderful dinner, but the next morning, you know, it was time to head back home, and we're probably an hour away from home at this point, maybe a little less. And so we're leaving about 7:30 in the morning, and here there's still people out on the gambling floor just gambling. And it felt sad, you know. Don't know their stories, but individuals all by themselves just pulling slot machines and doing other stuff. So this is where I turn around and kind of head back. At least right back into the little town of Ignacio. Here's stuff that's inside the casino. They have weddings, banquets, concerts. A lot of their funding, a lot of their income comes from things other than gambling. They have big acts, music groups come, and they also have a bowling alley there. It's the largest bowling alley in the area, and it's the closest one to Pagosa. Here we're coming into the little town of Bayfield, which is back near Highway 160, but the highway bypassed the town, so it's just a sleepy little town. It has about 2,000 people in it, similar to Pagosa, but there's no tourism here, so there's no restaurants, there's no buildings, just a handful of restaurants. Right now I'm pulling up in front of our favorite restaurant in Bayfield. It's called Bottom Shelf Brewery. Every time we go to the airport, the regional airport in the area, about an hour away from Pagosa, is in Durango, and Bayfield's kind of halfway. And when we pick people up at the airport and bring them back, we always manage to stop here, have a beer, because it is a microbrewery. They've got quite a menu. I think our favorite thing on the menu is fish and chips. So there it is. There's the entrance. There's all the local beers they make right on site. And so I went in today. It was about 11:30 in the morning, and of course I had fish and chips. I think I was the only one there, or at least people were sitting outside, but not inside. So now it's time to head home. So I'm going to jump on 160, complete the circle, or complete the loop. And now I'm going to drive through downtown Bayfield. For such a small town, if you walk the streets, on the right here you're going to see the Presbyterian Church. On the left you'll see the little newspaper, thrift shops, coffee shops. There's not a lot there, but there's a walking tour. You find signs everywhere showing what some of these buildings were 50, 60, 100 years ago. So, quiet little town. Just it misses the highway, and so it doesn't get the tourism. You can see on the bike I made a couple modifications. I've got a holder for a Garmin GPS. Sure comes in handy when you push the home button. You know how to get there. I also put a tachometer on it because this motorcycle doesn't have one. Frankly, it doesn't have a gas gauge either. When the bike starts to sputter and stall, it tells me it's running out of gas. And if I put it on reserve fast enough, I'm okay. Otherwise, well, I've never run out of gas yet, thank goodness. You notice I just stopped the stop sign because I forgot to I had my gloves, and if you ever go riding, one of the things you always have to have is have on some good shoes, never flip-flops, and always wear gloves, because boy, if you take a fall, you're going to have raw meat real fast. So always on the safe side. This is a little road going out of Bayfield onto the main highway. And again, a lot of residential people live here, or there's a lot of residences here, but Bayfield is only about 20 miles from Durango, and so it's a bit of a bedroom community. So here we're coming out of Bayfield, right back onto 160, and now I'm going to head east and head right back to Pagosa. I'm probably about 45 minutes away, so this next section is going to be abbreviated pretty quickly. Next shot, I think we'll be pulling into Pagosa. Today was a day where there was lots of bicyclists on the road. I think I passed 50 of them between Bayfield and Pagosa. I'd noticed they didn't have numbers on their jerseys, and so I don't think it was an organized ride or a fundraising event, but maybe a club or something. But there was a lot of cyclists, not in groups, all individuals, but sometimes 10 feet apart, sometimes 100 yards apart, but a bunch of them. And here we're coming into Pagosa, right on the very western edge of town. On the left is the original grocery store, City Market. It's just a Kroger's. And the west side of the town, we live on the east side of the town, and so the difference is about 6 or 7 miles. Not far. Of course, the claim to Pagosa, what put it on the map, I think, was originally the hot springs. And of course, there's 3 hot springs locations, although 90% of the people go to the hot springs resort. Beautiful facility, kind of expensive. For us, it's a one and done place. Great place to go, but we're never in a hurry to get back. But Pagosa's growing. It's not a bedroom community to anyone, but they estimate almost half the houses built in Pagosa are second homes. Either they're winter cabins or winter cabin homes, or they're summer cabin homes. A lot of them are rented out for VRBO. Just Google it or go on VRBO website and you'll see that for yourself. So here I'm heading down the main drag, getting ready to go past Walmart again, which this time will be on the right hand side. What we would call the new section of town, and then when I get to the stoplight, I'll be heading down the hill. This ride today was about 2 hours long, and when I first got the bike, one of the seat was absolutely uncomfortable. You could ride it for 40 minutes, and boy, you had a saddle sore. So I put an Air Hawk. It's an kind of an air bladder type seat, which immensely helped. And just recently, I was going to add foam to this seat. There's downtown Pagosa. There's the hot springs. And so I had the seat rebuilt. I went to the guy who upholstered some furniture for us, and I think I could ride it for 8-10 hours at a crack now. So here we're coming back out on 84, heading south, just about a half mile from Easy Street. And when we pull into Easy Street, you'll see we immediately then turn right and pull into our driveway. And then it's welcome home, Elkwood Manor. Listen, guys, hope you enjoyed the ride. Just wanted to share something with you. This is a first for me. I have no idea if this is going to be good or if it's going to be crap. So, but it was fun. I wanted to share it with you. So until next time, guys, we'll see you later. Maybe I'll make another video, and of course I'll work on my production skills, and hopefully they won't be so lengthy. Cheers.